Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Energy Demand Management Talk. Very honored to have two great guests next to me. My name is Renate de Lange. I'm a partner at PwC and I'm the Global Sustainability Markets Leader. And one of the projects I've been quite involved in is a project about energy demand management and more specifically energy demand reduction. One of the things we have done is that we developed a very interesting game, which you can see at the other side of this booth, so I would really invite you to visit it and to try and to play it. But these people next to me are going to bring that game to life with real stories, so I think it's very interesting. May I start with you? Christophe Villard, he is the Executive Director of Transport Systems and Operations at Société des Grands Projects. I hope I pronounced it properly right. Christophe, it's great to be in Paris, but I visited Paris not only this week, but a few weeks ago as well. And I came by car, and I was saying to my husband, let's go in the night or late, because I need to drive the very quick. That's a bit exciting. But I think a lot is going to change when you talk about moving around Paris. Can you tell a little bit about it?
Hello. Yes. Hello, everybody. It's true that it's a real problem today to drive in Paris because there are a lot of cars, a lot of congestions, and something great is happening now. I'm not speaking only about VivaTech, but it's also that we are building a brand new metro line project around Paris. We are building 200 kilometers of underground metro around Paris, which is huge, 64 new stations, and it will completely change the life of people living in Paris and Paris area. It's being currently done now. First line is going to open in 1 month of time before Olympic Games. Is the extension of line 14 to the south to Orly and to the north to Saint-Denis Pleyel, which is a big change. And then by 2030-31, it's going to be a brand new network of metro line. It's what we call metro is mass rapid transit. Imagine that we are carrying from 2 million to 3 million people every day. If all these people, they take the car as they do today, you know, people in Paris by car, how many people by car? One half maybe, yeah. I'm not sure so much. Huh? So if all these people they take the train instead of taking the car, you avoid a lot of congestion. You solve the problem that you're mentioning, Renata, and also you make the transformation from carbon dioxide releasing car to electrical metro line, which is a brand new issue, and it's going to optimize the global energy consumption of the way to transport and to carry people.
Very interesting, and I think a quite prestigious project, I think. I have another guest at the floor. It's Jean-Yves Stéphane. He's from Storio. Can you tell a little bit on what you do with your company?
Yes, of course. Storio Energy develops and installs and operates energy storage solutions or batteries on commercial and industrial sites. So these are not batteries that you would have in your home, but these are batteries that you know, a large industrial or a large retail business would have. And why would they have a battery? Well, usually in conjunction with solar panels on the rooftop. Then the goal of the battery is just to store the solar energy when there's too much that's being produced, so that the business can self-consume it. And this way, the business can secure a significant portion of their energy needs with this on-site solar panels and this on-site battery. And that means they're protected from energy market prices, which are very volatile. As you know, in 2022, 2023, because of the Ukraine war, many industrial businesses just had to stop their production. It can be a life-threatening issue, and our goal is to give them stability by putting batteries on site. And okay, what do we do here? We don't actually build batteries. What we provide the service. Okay, so we come in and we say this is the optimal size of the battery that we recommend, and we will find an installer. We procure the battery, so like it's an end-to-end service. And what we do develop in-house is the software that runs the batteries. When should you charge? When should you discharge? How do we maximize your savings? How do we maybe generate additional revenues from the grid? So we're it's an end-to-end service, but it's also very much a software company, because to make smart energy decision or smart demand management decision, you need software, and yeah.
Very interesting. I think if you think of energy demand and energy demand reduction, it basically goes to 3 levels. First is basically, how do I buy or make decisions on buying energy? And basically in every decision you make within a company, in all the different areas, energy is involved, whether it's about your car fleet, whether it's about your buildings, whether it's how you distribute your goods. So there are a lot of energy decisions which, when you centralize, you could save a lot of money. I think another lever is, and then you come back to that as well, how do you do it as efficient as possible and use new technology? And I think you can tell a great story. And I think you build on the last leverage. How can you work within an ecosystem to manage it together more efficiently instead of company by company or organization by organization? When I speak to a lot of clients, they say, okay, energy efficiency, that needs a lot of new technology. Can you tell a little bit about that?
Yes, it's a good point, because, as I said, 200 kilometers of new lines, 3 million people per day. Of course, it's a lot of electricity. It's according to our calculation, it's roughly 860 gigawatt hour per year, which is very, very huge figure. Half of that is for the traction, for the train, and the the remaining half is for the station themselves, and also all the site maintenance for the train and all this issue. So there are several ways to optimize all this figure. First, by the design of the station by themselves, using natural ventilation instead of air condition. Like if you go to Asia or some Middle East, most of the stations, they are air conditions. In Paris, we don't need air conditions because, of course, the climate is different. But also, when it's very hot, we are pushing for the natural ventilation of the stations. And although they are very big, the stations, the consumption of electricity in benchmark, it's quite lower than what we can find around the world. And the second part, as I mentioned, is the traction power for the train themselves. So what is important is that the train system that we are building, it's a driverless metro, same as line 14 or line 1 in Paris, driverless. And it's completely different because it's the same as when you drive your own car. When you see a signal, you brake. But if you are a good driver, you brake not at the last moment, you brake before, so that you can come to the train signal with a lower consumption of gasoline. And the driver with the train is a very fast train. It's going up to 110 kilometers per hour because it's a huge distance between stations, roughly 2.5 kilometers. So the way is how a human can do that. A man cannot do that. He cannot optimize, but the computer can. Computer, he knows all the line profile and the curve, the slope, and he can optimize the driver way for the train. So that's why only by that we can optimize something like 29% of electricity according to a driver man driver train. How 29%? I would say there is 17% by what we call coasting. Coasting is just what I mentioned before, is that you stop accelerating as early as possible according to the slope or the stations. Stations are the same as the signal I mentioned before. And by that is something that like 12%, 17%, sorry, can be saved. And there's another thing. It's an electrical law. Is the braking regeneration. When an electrical train brakes, it regenerate electricity in the catenary system. The problem is that if there is no other train coming, all the electricity is lost. So the idea is with the computer-based driverless systems, it can optimize and it can make sure that there is a train coming, or if the train, it can wait maybe 2-3 seconds that there is more in station, so that it can make synchronization between the train that is braking and the train that is accelerating, and then maximize the energy transfer between the two trains, and then save on the electricity consumptions.
I think it's a great example how you use technology to basically optimize the use of energy, but also reuse it for a different purpose and maximize that out. That's also what you are trying to build on. You work mostly with the private sector, you told me. I'm curious, so when we talk to a lot of CEOs, they basically say energy transition, very interesting, not my problem. It's a problem for the EU and our sector. Well, at the same time, I think it's not only about the supply side, it's indeed also about the demand side, but there seems to be a lack of engagement and awareness within the C-suite that they really can do a lot and that they have power and control. And I think, again, it's a great example using new technology. What do you notice when you talk to clients where you work together?
Yes, when we talk to clients, we should convince them that they should not invest in storage or in other energy management solutions just, to help the global energy transition. I mean, of course, they care. They care that they're having a positive impact, but it should really be, it's usually a financial decision. It's about showing them that indeed storage is a worthwhile investment, that they will have a fast return on an investment, and that it will also give them the more flexibility you have on your energy consumption, the more protection you have. If tomorrow you realize that the price spikes, particularly in the morning and in the evening, that's the case today, and that will be even stronger tomorrow because we have a more and more renewable energy into our mix. What we realize is that the peak prices of electricity are even higher, and the low prices of electricity are even lower. And so now if you add energy demand management through storage or through other means of flexibility, you can take advantage of that. In our case, you can charge the battery when market prices are cheap. And that means, very significant cost savings. And so, yeah, when we talk to C-suits, CEOs, executives, it should really be about proving an ROI. And in our case, what's very important is that how we get very good ROI is because there are certain times where an on-site battery will do nothing. There are days where there is not much sun, and there are long winter nights. And so during these times, what we do is we will still make value out of the battery by actually trading technical services to the grid. The electric grid needs to be stabilized at all times, and batteries can help stabilize the electric grid. And so when a battery that is not actively managed, maybe it wouldn't do anything in a long winter night. But actually, during a long winter night, the grid needs help. And so this is where we come in and we generate additional revenues by trading these services to the grid, and that translates into ROI, and that's a language that business people understand.
And now I'm going to ask perhaps a different question, but I can imagine that the average CFO would ask you, but what is the average return or the average saving you bring to a client, and not specifically your solution, but being more conscious, collaborating and using basically the energy or the battery in the most powerful way? What kind of percentages are we talking?
So the first step in every conversation is to do the technical study, but yeah, we're talking about typically 20% IRR or 5 years ROI for a battery energy that will live on for 15 years. In some cases, it can be faster than this, because in some cases, the battery can be a replacement to getting an electric upgrade. Let's say you realize, oh, I need to have more power, more electric power on my site, and I need to get a connection to the high voltage network, and I need to put a transformer, and that will cost me 100K. And I will say, well, instead of spending 100K on this, just buy a battery. It will also cost maybe 100K, but the battery will also provide you with additional savings, like 20K per year. And so here we're talking about instant ROI in certain cases. So it's very, it depends a lot, but in general, we're talking about this order of magnitude.
Serious. And I can imagine that you did a similar exercise when you decided to invest a lot also in using that new technology. That you had a similar...
So for the battery, it's also a possibility to not to lose the regeneration train braking system. It's something also that can be seen. But another way that we can arrange is the flexibility that is used thanks to the driverless mode of operations. The problem with the driver is that you need to order him long time in advance. You have to give him a calendar, 2 weeks basis, and the problem is that when something happens, for example, at the end of a stadium football match, for example, a lot of people want to take the train, and then it's a big problem on the station, as you know, because there is not necessarily the right quantity of train. But since it's fully automatic, it's like in a video game, it's fully possible to have adjust and ask, call, the computer will call for the train to come. And you can even imagine that and I know that that's for the future developments, but some artificial intelligence that are looking inside internet, and they find out automatically by itself that something is happening, that there is at that time there will be the end of the theater and a lot of people on the train. At that time something is going to happen. Now there's a big demonstration going on, so people will want to take the train, and it can by itself advise the operator and say, please, let me do it. I will order a new train to help and support the transportation for the people, not to wait too much in the station.
And that's really cool. So basically, transport on demand more and more, really. If you would look at what you're doing, and I think if you talk about return on investment, it would be a no-brainer to scale that. Nevertheless, we see it takes a lot of time really to accelerate. What is the biggest hurdle, do you think, for ecosystems to really say, okay, we are going to do that collaboration together and try to use that energy efficiency?
Yes, I think things are moving fast, and they're going to move faster and faster because you have these compounding trends. One trend is energy prices are higher. Even though right now they're going a little lower than they were 2 years ago, they're still significantly higher than they were prior to the energy crisis. The other thing is the storage supply chain, the battery supply chain is getting more and more efficient because we mass produce electric vehicles, and now we can actually reuse electric vehicle batteries as second life, and so that means batteries are getting cheaper. And the other big trend is we have more and more renewable into the grid, and that translates into very volatile prices. So, you know, when you're very early on, you don't see the curve, but when these compounding curves, they just give you an exponential curve, and I believe that we will see a very significant uptake of energy storage just because the economic equation is here. This being said, what is the other hurdle? Obviously, in our case, for any energy business, it's still regulation. There are regulations. Some of them are there. I mean, they're there for good reasons, but sometimes they can distort the market. One example is that for solar production, if you have a relatively small solar panel size, you will benefit from highly subsidized price. So you will be able to sell your solar production at a very high price. That's much higher than the actual market price. So the government is paying for the difference. And that is good for solar developers. That is not good for storage, because the main value of storage is telling a business, instead of selling your energy for cheap, you should store it on site, you should self-consume it, and this way you don't use the grid and you save a lot of money. But when we have this very high subsidized price, that is not true anymore. So that is the hurdle. And then for any startup, it's about standardizing the business case. It's about being very efficient at deploying these projects. So yeah, that's our challenge.
And so basically you say it should be a bit more holistic approach in the different means to basically challenge the whole transition phase, the combination of storage, new technology, and perhaps some incentives to drive the speed. Okay. Together with you as a young company, okay, how do I industrialize basically the things I'm doing? You both use a lot of technology. It's a bit of a sidestep, so I hope I don't, how you say it, confront you too much. But what about safety? So cyber, how does that work? I can imagine when we have a lot of conversation also on AI and people, AI and safety. How does it work if you have so much technology in your transport system?
Yeah, as far as the transportation system is concerned, it's a really big issue now. of course, there are cyber attacks going on every day, like on transportation systems. The problem is not really that a train will crash together. I don't think so, because the cyber people, pirate, must be very well known about the way transportation system operates, and that's not the case. But what they can do is they can block the transportation systems, the computer that I mentioned before, and then all the trains stop. And of course, if all trains stop with all of people inside, it's a big mess, because you have to evacuate the people, and that can be so it's really a big issue. The point is that the cyber solution today, they are designed for I would say for the defense business, and for transportation business. It's not really in their target now, because it's very small market, but to have very big issue, because you imagine, as I mentioned before, all the train to stop now today in Paris, what's going to happen? And therefore, we are a little bit brand newcomer in this cyber systems, and we have been helped by company like yours and others to design according to our requirement and our need the cyber solutions. But first, we have to standardize the way we want to work, and also exchange with others, metro owners. Last week, I was with the owners of the operator of the Singapore metro, for example. They have exactly the same problem, and we exchange together. And they are very interested in what we have done in France, because they say, yeah, we have the same problem, and we are thinking the same. That's so we will only open the lines if everything is safe. But there are a lot of solutions to be implemented, and it's really not an easy things today. I can confess.
Before I go to your last question, is there anyone in the audience who has a question or would like to pop a question for one of the gentlemen? And if not, I will give them another one, so don't be afraid, but at least I don't want to be so unpolite to not offer you the opportunity. That's what I also always find interesting in being panels like this. You have a great audience, a lot of people. You're a young entrepreneur. I saw a lot of young entrepreneurs over here. What is the most important lesson you have learned over the past 5 years, and what you would like to give back to the group?
An entrepreneurship lesson, or?
I don't care. What do you feel that we should know and should bring home to really scale whatever you do, and what you can learn from your experience?
Wow, I did not prepare for that question. Great.
Then you get the best answers.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Let me give maybe maybe one thing that's more like a, I guess, personal life goal, but is really to pick a job that you're passionate about, and work with people that you're that you enjoy working with, people that inspire you, people that challenge you. And yeah, don't stay at a job where you're bored, or don't stay at a job where you think you don't have a great impact on the world, because if you find a mission you're excited about, and you work with people that inspire you, nothing will stop you, and you will be successful. And the paycheck, maybe you're a trader, and the paycheck, if you move to working for an energy startup, will be a little lower, but the fulfillment that you get at the end of the day is just there. And that would be maybe one lesson that I learned, and that I still want to apply for the future for myself.
Well, that's a very beautiful lesson, I think. You are leading, I think, one of the most prestigious projects at the moment, I think, around this city. That's also is quite a brave adventure, if I may call it like that. If you look back on how this went up to now, is there one thing, if you move toward 2030, where you're going to do the next track, and say, okay, this I'm really going to do different? Because I can imagine with so much happening, when it comes to AI, when it comes to climate, people are looking, okay, what should I do? What's the next step?
Yeah, you're right. But the point is that our company, Société des Grands Projets, is a new company. It has been created in 2010, and we really start construction work in 2017. Today we are in 2024, and we have built 100 kilometers of tunnel already. And we are going to open the first line very soon, as I said before. So for that, the challenge was to hire the people. In 2017, we were 100 people, and today we are 1,000 people. So we have multiplied by 10 in 5 years the number of people working with us. So the challenge is to hire these people, to have a company that people want to work with, and we want to hire only the best people. We need to have only experienced people. That's for our people, and also we have to contract with experienced contractor to help us do the work. And we have also the same. I think the key of success is to hire the best. That's the solution, to contract with the best company. And really, that's what I think we did up to now, and we succeed to have almost half of the project done by that time. And for the future, I think we have to continue like that. We will not hire anymore. Now we are stabilized, but still we have to keep the company that are working for us motivated and interested to participate in this great project, because this is really a great project. And that's why we need to tell more about that, so that people knows about the project and they are waiting for the opening of the lines.
If I may make a final remark, I think what I've learned is, and I think you underpinned it quite right, it's yes, we need to be more cautious of the planet, but at the same time there's a great business imperative to move into an efficient energy demand, and it's about collaborating in the ecosystem, it's about using the newest of the newest technology, and it's also about very conscious purchase or your procurement department. Travis is here. Say hi, Travis. Travis is showing off that game where you can basically see how easy it is to try to build a plan across basically those 3 levels. So OPEX, CAPEX and collaboration. He's there today and tomorrow, so just take the opportunity. I would like to thank both of you. Very good, very interesting. Thank you for having us.
Thank you. Thank you very much.